The 2021 Grand National Cross Country ATV Championship has been without a doubt one of the greatest in history. Walker Fowler taking his 7th Grand National Cross Country Championship title and the open bid for the number 2 spot as we wonder who is going to be next. The field of competition is stiff, the field of competition is deep, and GNCC is next. Are you ready to go GNCC Racing? Hello and welcome to the granddaddy of them all, the Ironman GNCC in Crawfordsville, Indiana, round 13 of America's premier off-road racing championship, the 2021 GNCC series presented by Specialized and AMA National Championship. I'm Rodney Tomlin, and this is the Yamaha Racing Ironman GNCC. And as we take a look just a couple of weeks back, we were in the mountains of West Virginia at an old school GNCC type facility there in Newburgh at the Buckwheat 100, where Walker Fowler grabbed the whole shot, and a big surprise back there in the number 2 spot as the number 8 of Josh Merritt found his way to right behind Walker Fowler. Now, issues would put him back a few positions, but also a decent finish has him in a running for a top 6 overall position for the 2021 series. We'll see how today's competition fares for him. Meanwhile, this may have been one of the most exciting races that we have seen in this 2021 championship, with a number of players up front and how thick the competition was for those runner-up spots behind Fowler. The 521 mountaineer himself, the Gator Adam McGill, in these mountains of West Virginia, was able to find himself into the number 2 spot, while Walker Fowler kind of stretched things out a little bit. The battle was really for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th place positions as these riders went after it. Actually, all the way through the top 6 to about half of the race, where we see Devin Feehan had caught up to this pack. Now, by the end of the race, things had gotten really crazy. Riders had gotten hung up. Cole Richardson had worked his way up into a top position and was battling with the 521 of Adam McGill, who comes out on top of that battle in 2nd, with Richardson in 3rd, Hunter Hart in 4th, McClure in 5th, followed by Feehan. Chris Borick 7th on that new Yamaha ride. John Glotta Jr., Josh Merritt, Austin Abney rounding out the top 10. And to say Walker Fowler was satisfied with that ride may be an understatement.
I rode with a lot of pressure there until we pitted, and I finally was able to start getting away, but man, when I'm riding good and when I'm having fun, this WFR GBC Fly Racing Yamaha is just absolutely incredible. BNR tuned suspension, oh my gosh, we've been working our tails off, getting the setup closer and closer and closer to right, and oh my God, this thing is just absolutely on rails. So I'm glad that we got that figured out. These last 2 races were basically intended to be practice for next year. I know that Bryson's coming back healthy. I know that, Hunter's got a taste of, 2nd place and for points and a win under his belt this year. He's going to be tough. Obviously, Feehan's had some good races, and Mr. Adam McGill's still hanging in there, so you can't count out the Gator. Jared McClure. I mean, there's just 7-8 guys right now that are capable of running up front, and we saw that today even. So it's good to get a whole shot. It's good to run up front. It's good to get another win, and I'm just excited to be healthy. I missed this race last year. Thank you so much to the Jennings family. I know them pretty well, and just appreciate them letting us come tear their property up. This place was awesome. I had so much fun.
Well, it's hard not to have fun when you're winning as we head to the final race of the season. A little bit of mud out there on the course, 10.5 miles of race course, and we're expecting rain as the day progresses into tomorrow on Sunday. But right now on the start, things are looking pretty good as Walker Fowler gets a great jump off the line. There's Adam. Oh, and Adam McGill gets hung up in that first turn. John Glotta Jr. will get out and around in that number 2 spot. And things are quickly mixed up as we have got some of the top riders, including the number 3 of Cole Richardson, the Coltrane, nearly in dead last place position back there. If not, Jared McClure also getting off to a rough start in that one as well. So the field is kind of topsy-turvy and turned around. And as we open things up here, it is Walker Fowler, John Glotta Jr. There's Hunter Hart. He gets out in third. The fourth place position then is the 701 of Greg Covert, with Johnny Gallagher rounding out the top 5 as he wraps up his 27th season as an XC1 Pro Class rider in his lower 40s and working on his mid 40s right now. I know Johnny has plans of running the 2022 championship season, and past that, I'm not sure, as I don't think he is either. As the XC2 green flag drops on this one, and our early leader looks to be the 927 of Tanner Walker, as he will grab the early lead in this one. Wyatt Wilkin, one of the top contenders in this one, nearly going over on that one, as he will open up in what looks to be a third. Matt, make that a fourth place position now. A couple of key players, the newly crowned champion Ronnie Rush and also championship contender Brandon Owens, racing the XC1 Pro Class. Both those riders outside the top 10 here on lap number 1 as we get things sorted out here in the XC2 Pro-Am class. A number of these riders have committed already to racing the 2022 championship in the XC2 Pro Class, so we may see only a handful, maybe a couple of riders actually advancing to the XC1 Pro Class for 2022. So it'll be interesting to see how many of these guys actually make that decision before that first green flag waves, and what will happen if and when they do. Walker Fowler out on point in this one, and Junior in the number 2 spot. There is Hunter Hart in third, and still that fourth place position of Covert. We don't see a lot of changes as we approach the 2-mile mark in this one now. Riders all together, so this is good news as much as they have been turned around. Jared McClure in the back of this pack now, all the way back, and wow, that looks like a 9th place position he starts out in. A long road to hoe for our riders, but the Ironman GNCC is on. Coverage of the 2021 Grand National Cross Country Championship is brought to you in part by Specialized E-Turbo Bikes. It's you, only faster. And by RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready. And by Yamaha Racing. Revs your heart. Welcoming you back here to Ironman Raceway in Crawfordsville, Indiana, where Saturday night's always a good time at GNCC. But in Crawfordsville at the Ironman, it's a great night. And of course, I had some great entertainment by the Davidson Brothers Band, which is a GNCC tradition, it seems like, as the fans from all around the Midwest and basically around the world came in for the Davidson Brothers Band. And also DJ Judd, our Monster Energy DJ on stage, keeping the crowd entertained, as well as our own Mikey Waynes, who had some special announcements to his hometown crowd as they were giving away a brand new Yamaha TTR 125. And to help do that, Stu Baylor from the two-wheel side of things, and of course Johnny Gallagher on stage, and they draw the name of Josh Wyatt, who picks himself up a brand new Yamaha TTR 125 to scoot around the pits and at home with. And of course, lots of fun, as it was the prelude to the big show that night. The world-renowned and nationally touring band Low Cash taking to the stage, entertaining the GNCC crowd there on that final night, as of course bringing to the stage their top songs that were chart-busting, of course, and also finding a new home, I think, in recognizing what the GNCC Racing Nation was all about. Good times and great memories always to be had at GNCC. If you want to know more about it and be a part of it yourself, be sure to log on to GNCCRacing.com. We're one big happy family that likes to celebrate a lot. And speaking of celebrating, Walker Fowler is hoping to celebrate with another win here today as we drop down into the creek right before Ironman Hill for the first time. Riders going up Ironman Hill. Now only A and Pro riders are allowed up this hill. All B riders have to go to a farther side. Now, the pro riders going to the left side of Ironman Hill, which is a little longer. You notice there's more lines over to the right, but they're more challenging, and I have to admit, have to think that they are going to open up more as this day progresses, and this race course is going to get a little bit more challenging. Looks kind of easy right now. Not a lot of challenges on Ironman Hill as all of our riders making their way up. I did notice, however, that Hunter Hart tried a little bit of an alternate line, switching it up at the top of the hill. Didn't pay off, but he's still right there in the number 3 position. Looks like Feehan now maybe up to a 4th place position as position jockeying continues. There is Chris Borich as he is looking at a solid, well, battle for a top 5 position right now. And the number 3 of Cole Richardson still way back in the pack. Man, he has still got a long way to go in this one. But fortunately for him, even though he's back a little far, the gap is not very large between the groups of riders 3rd back to 4th place position. So there's still hope for everyone as Johnny Gallagher makes his way by in what appears to be that 14th place position. Back up front, we check down the trail just a little further as Junior and Hunter Hart are still on the rear grab bar of Walker Fowler, who seems to be struggling to shake these youngsters here in the early part of this race. Bit of a gap back to the number 4 position now, as it looks like we've got a new 4th place ride, and I believe that is Cole Richardson. The Cole train has worked his way up, and now in the number 5 spot is Devin Feehan, and look at that, in 6th place it's Chris Borich on the new Yamaha ride. Back out front, Walker Fowler. Is he by himself now in these open field sections? He seems to have a little bit of power. Now heading into a little tricky section. It's actually got a couple option lines out here at the 7-mile marker. Fowler still out front. That is still Junior Glotta back in the number 2 position with Hunter Hart in the number 3 spot. And now hot on the rear grab bar of Hunter Hart is fellow New Yorker Devin Feehan, as he's gotten back around the number 3 of Cole Richardson, who seems to have his own set of problems coming in from the number 5 of Chris Borich, who seems to have found his own new life here at the end of the 2021 championship season. I'll tell you, there's a lot of variables heading into this final round. As we said, some riders just looking to make that explanation point. So many riders also looking to make that first big stab at great things happening, as Jared McClure using the alternate line out there, nearly getting around for that 8th place position. But Walker Fowler back up front with Junior Glotta and still the number 7 of Hunter Hart in 3rd, as those front 3 are beginning to stretch things out over the field now and into the wood section. You can see not only those field sections have given them a few extra seconds, but also these perfect conditions in the woods. Maybe muddy in the fields, but great in the wood lines here today as riders continue to jockey for position. And look at this, Devin Feehan is still well within striking distance and trying to make passes, as we got a pass taking place here coming out of the creek up Ironman Hill. Will there be a pass? Walker Fowler going up an alternate line there. It looks like Glotta, though, may have gotten around. We'll find out in just a few moments. Look at that. That is Cole Richardson up the 3rd, up the 4th now, the 4:06 of Devin Feehan. And we do have a new leader, the young sophomore, the 7:12 of John Glotta Jr., a.k.a. Junior, now in the lead on point and trying to stretch things out. Fowler in 2nd, Cole Richardson 3rd, Devin Feehan, as we said, in 4th, and these front 4 are starting to stretch things out. They've got now about 10 seconds back to the number 5 spot, where things continue to heat up there as well. Tightening it back up as we roll through this Yamaha section of the Yamaha Ironman GNCC, and our front 4 are basically nose to tail as we roll through this 2nd lap of racing, and already so much has taken place. And the way things are looking, we're not sure if it's going to be a 4 or 5 lap race. So John Glotta Jr. out front and on point has got a long way to go still up front, with a lot of hungry competition not far behind him. One of the big questions I have right now, what happened to Hunter Hart? As Hart has already dropped back several positions. He was running 3rd. He's back in the number 5 spot right now and seems to be struggling a little bit, as he and Feehan doing a little bit of battling back there. Meanwhile, I think all eyes and attention, though, are up front on Junior Glotta, the 7:12 machine, including Walker Fowler's watching his every move at this point. Cole Richardson 3rd, Feehan is 4th, and now the gap is opening up to nearly 20 seconds over now 5th place ride Hunter Hart on board the number 7 machine. Who could have scripted this? I don't think anyone could have written this out any better than what it has been so far, as we near the completion of lap number 2, and Junior Glotta still out front, and our front 4 are now starting to open up even more over 5th place, as we're getting reports that Hunter Hart may be as far back as 30 seconds. Now some lap traffic for John Glotta Jr. as we near the completion of this second lap. Fowler still in second. Third place position is still the number 3 of Cole Richardson. Fourth place still Devin Feehan. No changes up here as we are out near the 7-mile marker now. Not as close to the finish line as what I thought. So the young junior will have a little farther to go than what I had thought he would have to complete this lap out front. Walker Fowler utilizing the alternate line, not able to make a pass into the lead, but still able to maintain that number 2 spot as more distance now opening up between first and second place. Second, third, and fourth still somewhat tight. We'll see if it tightens back up as they get back into the woods, and likely with more lap traffic on the way, we can see that as things are tightening up again. Glotta not able to stretch it out as much as he had hoped and keep it there, but still in the number 1 spot. Lap traffic pulling over for these riders now as they have bunched back up. And now deep into lap number 3, the young junior Glotta is starting to prove himself as a formidable opponent with all these top GNCC racers. And it looks like we have lost Walker Fowler Richardson up to second. Devin Feehan now third. Walker Fowler's dropped all the way back to 8th place and is about 30 seconds behind 7th is the reports we are getting now. So Fowler not a factor in this one, and the rider who was nearly dead last off the starting line because of the start, Cole Richardson, is in second. Will he be able to steal the thunder away from the young junior Glotta? Stick around to find out. GNCC continues after this. Coverage of the Grand National Cross Country Championship on MAVTV is being brought to you in part by Specialized E-Turbo Bikes. It's you, only faster. Rocky Mountain ATVMC.com. Get ready. And by Yamaha Racing. Revs your heart. Welcome back to GNCC on MAVTV. I'm Rodney Tomlin here at the Ironman GNCC in Crawfordsville, Indiana, as we are now into lap number 5, where we've got big changes. Walker Fowler working his way up from 8th place, getting together with your leader, John Glotta Jr., and now we've got Cole Richardson on point, Devin Feehan in the number 2 spot, and a big break back to the number 3 spot where we got some great battling going on, but John Glotta Jr. is out of this race, and Cole Richardson is looking for the win here to put an exclamation point on the 2021 season, but cannot claim that until, of course, he's able to beat the young Devin Feehan, who's back in that number 2 spot on nearly on that rear grab bar here on this closing lap, as these riders motor their way through, and just a few more miles of racing left to go to see who's going to be top dog to end the season as we round the final few turns. Cole Richardson nearly, wow, sounds like the machine is running bad, but he finishes this race and takes the win here at the Ironman GNCC. What happened to second place Devin Feehan? And we'll have to find out and see just exactly what happened. With a mile to go, these guys were going at it.
Yeah, you know, so I got tangled up in the start there, and I mean, I'm pretty positive we were dead last. I was like, man, it's going to be a long day. We felt awesome. We finally got the bike dialed, the tires dialed, everything, and you know, it was kind of a bummer there on the start, but I was like, you know, we put our head down, we charged to the front, and we got behind Walker and Junior there, and it was like, I really wanted to get out front there. I felt I had more speed and could get away from those guys, and it was a hard track to get away. It's super, super fast, and I saw Walker wreck, and I hope he's all right. He ate it pretty hard. I'm actually surprised. I heard he finished. So, you know, got Junior, I think, around the hill climb there, and I heard somebody behind me for a while. Junior disappeared, and there it was. And, you know, I know Devin's super hungry for a win. You know, getting that first win's almost more, you know, he was definitely more hungry than me. You know, we've obviously got some wins, but, you know, I wanted to play it consistent. But we knew he would definitely be charging as hard as he could. Get about this last field over here, and the bike starts shutting off. I'm like, well, we got one more field section. About when he died, he actually passed me with about a half mile to go, and he had one tree to miss. And he ended up flipping into the last field, and you know, I handed it to him, gave him a shot, he handed it back. So, you know, awesome ride for him, awesome ride for Junior. You know, they definitely did win this one. You know, I was definitely friends with Matthew, so I'd love to do it for him. And, there's always one I wanted to win, especially for my mom back home because she had breast cancer. So I'm definitely pumped.
Well, it's always nice to win those special ones, and it's always nice to win your first one. Devin Feehan still in search of that as we catch up with him after this second place.
Yeah, super intense racing here at Ironman. Man, I can't say enough about John Glauda leading, those first 3-4 laps. He was a man on a mission. He was reeling a gap, and man, I think we all thought he was going to run away with it, but bad luck with a broken ball joint. I think he clipped a tree, so man, bummer for him. Great day. Walker ended up clipping a tree. I kind of asked if he was all right. He looked pretty banged up, but pretty much hooked up with Cole. Adam was right behind us, kind of stretched a gap, and right towards the end, we didn't hit a second time, and I think Cole's bike was starting to bog out. I was kind of getting worried about mine. We both kind of dropped the pace a little bit in the woods, opened it up in the fields. His bike bogged out, so I got around him there, and right here before the finish, I was like, just hold on to it before this field section. Last straight before that field section clipped it. Kind of a bummer, but man, great day. Just super thankful for another podium, and let's go.
Devin Feehan taking second place, 2 minutes 13 seconds ahead of a couple of veterans that battled and dueled all day long for that final podium spot. Jared McClure finally able to come out on top over Chris Borich as we catch up with him.
Oh yeah, he was on me all day. I had a terrible start. I think I may have been dead last, I'm not sure, but there was a huge pile up. And I was just coming from the back all day. We had a couple Pro-Am guys in there that added more riders, so the field was a little deeper, and just had to keep my head on straight and not panic in the beginning, and I was able to come through. I seen Adam crash. Hope he's all right, man. He was on the ground. Spectators got to him. I just kind of ran my own race. Not gonna lie, I got a little beat up towards the end there, man. I was running around all day this morning with Kate's race, and I was feeling a little bit. I don't know, but Chris, man, I'm surprised on the Yamaha, man. He was rolling really good. He was right on me. I think I might have had a little more power than him in the fields. Was kind of my saving grace. He was good. He did let me by in the beginning. I guess he just had to feel the new ride out, but I think he got pretty used to it because he was rolling there at the end.
Well, as the smoke clears on a race that leaves us wanting more, this is the way the championship wraps up. Fowler will take the number 1 plate with Hart, the number 2, Jared McClure, the number 3, Cole Richardson, the number 4 plate, and Adam McGill will round out the top 5 for the championship. Taking a look at the specialized race recap from this Yamaha Racing Ironman GNCC, our pink race. It got off to excitement, no doubt, as Walker Fowler snagged the early lead. It looked like the Gator Adam McGill was going to have second, but he got tangled up on that hay bale, which flipped the field around quite a bit, moving John Glauda Jr. up to a second-place position, and the young Hunter Hart as well into third. It looked like a 3-man shootout for the most part of this race, at least through the first couple of laps. And finally, John Glauda Jr. was able to get around the number 1 of Walker Fowler on that infamous Ironman hill climb. From that point on, he put his head down and started charging. Walker Fowler ended up having some problems clipping a tree and dropping all the way back to an 8th place position. A great ride today by that number 406 of Devin Feehan, who kept his head down and kept pushing, and as they moved toward the end of the race, became a major factor for the overall win. Before we got to this point, man, did he have his hands full. Cole Richardson moving up from nearly dead last place to the number 1 position, and did it get exciting as we went right down to the wire. No one really knew who was going to capture the checkers. Even these two were unsure until the very end, when finally Cole Richardson, running out of gas on this 5-lap race, 2 hours and 8 minutes nearly to run this one, was able to finish ahead and take the win of Devin Feehan, and 2 minutes 13 seconds back was Jared McClure in the number 3 spot. Well, that's going to wrap things up for GNCC Racing for 2021. Be sure to check GNCCRacing.com for our 2022 schedule. It's going to be another great one. I'm Rodney Tomlin. Have a great offseason, everyone.